The governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, and well, congratulations to Delta State, but more congratulations when we see the economic zone active and impactful in the economy. Now, yesterday there was the news that the federal government has commenced the disconnection of some power firms from the national grid as a result of their non-adherence to electricity market rules. Power sector players include the electricity generation, transmission, and distribution companies. For all players to interact effectively, of course, there are those rules. And, well, a lot of people have been trying to understand the implication of this. Will it mean blackout? I know I did see some newspapers talk about blackouts and all of that, but let's get to the bottom later. Even understand the market rules we're talking about, and then how it will affect you with Mr. George Atumi. He's the chairman, West Power and Gas, joins us virtually from Lagos. Mr. Atumi, good morning. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning, Amy.
So help us to understand, who are those affected here? What are these market rules?
Now, just to give you a little bit of a background, you know the value chain consists of generation, transmission, and distribution. In this particular case, let's just face the transmission end of it. Under the transmission, the TCN, you have two major, you can say two sub-regulators, the market operator and the systems operator. Now, what the market rules are is that whenever you are licensed, any firm that does business in the electricity industry has to be licensed by NERC. Once you are licensed by NERC, you go and sign what they call the market rules. And it's a voluntary thing. You go, you sign. And those rules are administered by the market operator. And what that does is that it enables all the power that's generated to be accounted for. The power is generated, is accounted for because it's bulk metered by the market operator. And then it is then dispatched to everybody. And everybody here includes the GenCos, DISCos, NBET, even the private generating company, anybody who does business in NESI. So the market operator is complaining. And the way the market operator operates is that it requires that everybody in the system posts a bank guarantee to secure their obligation. And when the temporary electricity market was introduced in 2015, in the throes of privatization, every market participant was required to post a bond. Now, some didn't post, some posted. But what has now happened is that as market is now evolving into a contract-based market, the market operator is complaining that because it is not receiving all the monies it should be getting. And the way it gets money is that once he dispatches power, say to a DISCO, for example, the DISCO it's itself metered. They are expected to then generate income from consumers. That income is then remitted on a threshold agreed with NEC, depending on how the subsidy, the cost-reflective tariffs work. Now, what the market operator is complaining is that even that non-tariff reflective invoice that is sent is not being fully honored by these market participants. And it has warned several times that the only way it makes income is through this provision of services. And if services are not paid for, then it.
All right, looks like there's a bit of hitch there with the network from Mr. Itomi. We hope to get him back. Mr. Itomi, are you back?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I was just so if you just look at how the distribution companies work, for example, if they send you an invoice for electricity consumed, you don't pay, they disconnect you. This is really what they are doing here. The market operator is saying, you are not honoring your obligations, we're going to disconnect. And since sometime like in February last year, they sent out notices to various market participants. Come and post your BGs, renew them, and then keep up with the 100% remittances. Because, for example, now discos are expected to make 100% remittances of whatever invoices they get from the MO. Now, the problem now is that not all of them, not just discos, all the other market participants are able to fulfill this obligation. And MO is now beginning to wield a big stick. Because we don't want to go under. If we go under, everybody goes under. And I know you asked the question, does that mean there won't be electricity? Not necessarily. They will just disconnect those who are not performing. The electricity will be diverted to those who are performing. The whole idea is that you need market discipline and contract enforcement so that people are alive to what they should do and not simply take power and walk away. Don't forget, we're still battling with when power was entirely federal government controlled, and because all the agencies all are connected with federal government, all manner of things could go on. But now you have different market participants and there are different contracts they've signed, and they want to enforce all those contracts. So this is really what's going on.
So I know you always preach the message of a service or costs reflective or service reflective cost, or is it the other way, has always been your message. So does this trickle down to perhaps the consumers, how much the consumers pay, and even the willingness of consumers to pay for what they consume?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because as I've discussed several times, even the discos are metered. That's what many people don't understand. So that consumer who is refusing to pay or who is stealing electricity is not helping the market at all. And that's why discos at times come down very high, because whether or not they like it, if you do not collect sufficient revenue, you will be owing the market. And what is now happening is that many discos are actually borrowing from banks, and they are overborrowed to meet up with market obligations. Some servicing investor loans, and in some cases, by the time they do that, they don't have enough money to remit to the market. So the whole value chain is illiquid as a result. The MO is saying, for example, it is getting only about 15% of what it should be getting. I don't know how verifiable that figure is. But most of these things are metered, so I guess you can easily find out what the true position is. But the thing here is that the MO wants to get its money, period. Because the MO itself collects money on behalf of all the participants in the market, like even NERC. So it is from their NERC service, every one of them who does regulatory functions are serviced. So if they are slack and the government is not giving them money, then something can easily go wrong. So this is where we are. In other words, market discipline is important. And throughout last year, what we were doing was how we could bring about market discipline. And if you recall, the CBN got involved. We then had a waterfall in which all these revenues are escrowed. And from that escrow, there's a waterfall arrangement where you pay off any loans you've taken, you pay off the MO, you pay everybody. And it is whatever is left in your account that you use for your own operations. So it is not in the interest of anybody to owe the market. So the discos are...
Unfortunately, once again. All right, do we have Mr. Itomi back?
I think I'm back.
Okay, all right, yeah, you're back. Go ahead, Mr. Itomi. Oh, wow. Seems we lost him again. I mean, being a stakeholder in the industry, it would have been interesting. I wanted to close out the session by asking him if he could tell us, we've seen the Lagos State governor hold meetings with, I think, discos the other time because of the amendment to the Constitution that now allows states to generate and distribute power. And it would be nice to get, if we have Mr. Itomi back, just to close out on that. Mr. Itomi, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay,
Yes.
we're almost out of time, but I mean, I would really like to get your thoughts on, the law that now allows states to get into generation and distribution of power. We've seen the Lagos State governor, for instance, have meetings with discos, and I don't know what's going on. What's going on around there? Do we see it coming to fruition anytime soon and changing the narrative of electricity supply in the country?
Absolutely, absolutely. But the trajectory will differ from state to state. In the case of Lagos State, they've been very proactive. Long before this formal amendment of the Constitution, the Lagos State government has always worked on the principle of collaboration with existing discos, and there are two of them, Ikeja Electric and Eco Disco that serve them. And really, that's the way it should go. It should be a template for all other states. Because if you want to go it alone, it's going to suck all your revenue. There's so many other competing interests for your attention. So you do not want to reinvent the wheel. Just work with the existing discos and see how you can complement them. And the way you can complement them is to look at the areas that are currently underserved or unserved and begin to provide off-grid solutions for those ones. The grid will still be there. As the grid strengthens, the electricity market will firm up. But to reach the underserved, those in the rural areas, those with small and medium-scale businesses, you begin to look at how you can create mini grids around alternative sources of electricity, like solar and so many other things. That's where Lagos State is going, and it's proactive. We like it, and I know it will succeed in Lagos, and it can be used as a template for other states. States just shouldn't rush to go and say they want to own the entire value chain. They will just recreate the behemoth that brought us into this quagmire in the first place.
All right, Mr. Itomi, thank you so much for your time. Mr. George Itomi is the chairman, West Power and Gas. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
My pleasure.
All right, another kind of power energy cost is what we'll be tracking. But we'll take a breather, and then we'll be back here on Business Morning.